Hello, stranger. Would you like to hear a scary story? Press the subscribe and like buttons and enjoy the story. Hampton Court. Ghost Story. Introduction. The Palace and its Shadows. In the heart of England stands Hampton Court Palace, an ancient fortress of stone and history, stretching across acres of manicured gardens and forgotten courtyards. Its walls are tall, weathered by centuries, and etched with countless secrets. From the outside, it looks majestic, serene, almost inviting. But step through its gates at night, and the air changes. A coldness settles in your bones, a sense that unseen eyes are watching, waiting. Legends speak of a noblewoman, once a resident of the palace, whose life ended tragically. Betrayal, sorrow, and a mysterious death bound her spirit to the palace, leaving a restless presence that wanders the halls to this day. Locals and visitors alike have described strange occurrences, shadows moving against the walls, footsteps echoing in empty corridors, and whispers that seem to come from nowhere. Some say the noblewoman still walks these corridors, dressed in flowing white, vanishing the moment anyone dares to approach. Entering the palace, the first signs of haunting. Imagine walking through the grand entrance hall, its high ceilings adorned with ancient tapestries and chandeliers that have not been lit for decades. Every footstep you take echoes, reverberating off the cold stone walls. There is a faint smell of aged wood and dust, mixed with something sweeter, almost floral, yet impossible to identify. A soft draft brushes past, chilling your skin, though all doors are firmly shut. Your eyes catch the portraits lining the walls, faces of long-dead nobility staring down at you with lifelike intensity. For a moment, you feel as though one of them blinks. Then, from the far end of the corridor, you hear it. A soft creak, like a door moving on its own. You convince yourself it's the wind, but the hallway is enclosed, and the night outside is perfectly still. Another creak follows, then a whisper, faint and indistinct, drifting closer. The first encounter. Shadows in the halls. Some visitors describe the first true encounter as subtle. You may feel a presence behind you, something that brushes past your shoulder. A draft? Perhaps. Or maybe it's something far more deliberate. One evening, a small group of tourists ventured into the long gallery, a corridor stretching for over 100 feet, lined with portraits of noble ancestors. As they walked, the eyes of the portraits seemed to follow them, shifting imperceptibly when no one was looking. The temperature dropped suddenly. Each breath came out as a faint mist. Then, in the periphery of their vision, a figure appears, a woman in white, gliding silently along the hall. When anyone tried to focus on her, she vanished, leaving only a lingering scent of roses and an indescribable feeling of unease. Early legends, stories from the past. Long ago, a maid named Eleanor worked in Hampton Court. She recounted nights when she would hear soft sobs and whispers drifting through empty corridors. On more than one occasion, she claimed to have seen the woman in white moving silently through the halls, always disappearing before Eleanor could reach her. A night watchman from the 1800s reported a strange event. A soft crying coming from the East Wing, a hallway that had been closed for decades. When he investigated, he found the corridor empty, but the sobbing continued, seeming to come from behind a locked door. The watchman fled and never returned. Even modern visitors report fleeting shadows, cold drafts brushing their skin, and whispers just beyond comprehension. Some have felt a weight on their shoulders, subtle but oppressive, as if the noblewoman herself were warning them to leave. The halls grow darker, intensifying tension. As you move deeper into Hampton Court, the air grows heavier, carrying with it an inexplicable chill. The torches on the walls, though unlit for decades, seem to cast faint dancing shadows. Every step echoes, and yet the palace feels alive, as if breathing around you. In the East Wing, visitors have reported objects moving slightly, a chair tilting, a book falling from a shelf, or a candlestick sliding across the floor. Sometimes the soft sound of footsteps echoes behind them, perfectly timed with their own, yet no one is there. The noblewoman's presence is subtle at first. A brush of air, a cold sensation along the spine, a whisper so faint it might be imagination. But those who linger too long begin to notice patterns. The shadows that flicker in corners, the feeling that something is following them through the halls, always just out of sight. The Long Gallery. A closer encounter. The Long Gallery is infamous among visitors. Spanning over 100 feet, it is lined with portraits of generations long past. Some swear that the eyes of the painting shift, tracking your movement, watching your every step. Late one night, a visitor ventured alone into the gallery. As they approached the end, a white figure appeared, barely perceptible in the dim light. It moved silently, gliding along the floor, and then vanished into the shadows. The visitor felt an overwhelming sense of dread, as though the noblewoman were standing just behind their shoulder, waiting, observing. The scent of roses filled the air, a scent long associated with the woman's tragic death. Stories of servants, whispers, through time. Eleanor, the maid from centuries ago, is only one of many witnesses. Others include a gardener who, while tending the grounds at dusk, saw a figure in the East Wing window, staring silently for minutes before disappearing. A historian cataloging artifacts in the West Wing reported hearing a woman softly crying, even though the hall was completely empty. Visitors have recorded voices in recordings, faint whispers, and indistinct murmurs, seeming to respond to their questions. All these accounts point to a presence bound by tragedy, unable to leave the palace, yet not malevolent in all cases. Some believe she is seeking justice, some say revenge, and some simply wish to be remembered. Supernatural phenomena. Beyond the senses, the haunting at Hampton Court is not limited to shadows or sounds. Visitors describe mirrors that crack or fog mysteriously, sometimes reflecting shapes that are not present, candles that ignite or extinguish on their own, casting fleeting shadows that appear human. Sudden temperature drops, as if the cold of centuries has settled into the stone itself. Many claim to feel a weight pressing down, an invisible hand on their shoulder or the nape of the neck. Some hear their names whispered, soft and deliberate, with a tone that chills the soul. Approaching midnight, heightened fear. It is said that the haunting grows strongest after midnight. The shadows lengthen unnaturally. The whispers become more distinct, almost forming words. Doors may creak open by themselves. Steps echo from empty corridors, and faint cries drift from the locked chambers. Visitors describe an unshakable feeling that they are being watched, followed, sometimes even guided to particular rooms where the spirit is strongest. Every sound, every flicker of shadow, every whisper reinforces the sense that Hampton Court is alive with history and something more. The climax. Shadows and whispers intensify. As midnight approaches, the palace seems to breathe with unseen life. Shadows lengthen along the corridors, stretching and twisting unnaturally. The soft whispers of the noblewoman grow louder, almost forming words, calling out to those who linger too long. Some visitors report feeling a presence pressing closer, a cold hand grazing their shoulder, or a soft brush across their neck. Objects move subtly, chairs slide across floors, doors creak, and candles ignite or extinguish without explanation. One visitor recounted an encounter in the grand staircase. A shadowy figure appeared at the top of the steps, motionless, watching. As the visitor climbed, the shadow descended, stretching and twisting unnaturally. When they reached the top, it had vanished, but the fragrance of roses remained, heavy and suffocating. A lingering reminder of the noblewoman's presence. Encounters beyond explanation. Visitors who spend the night in the palace describe experiences that defy logic. Mirrors that crack or reflect figures not present. Steps echoing when no one else is there. Whispered warnings, soft yet urgent, that seem to guide or frighten. The noblewoman's spirit is most active in the east and west wings, where tragedy touched her life most deeply. Some believe she relives her final moments nightly, trapped between life and death, seeking justice or acknowledgement for the injustices she suffered. Historical accounts. Voices across centuries. Accounts from the past echo eerily in the present. In the 1700s, a footman reported hearing whispers in Latin, reciting phrases no one present could understand. A 19th century historian cataloging tapestries claimed to see fleeting shadows dart between hallways, always just beyond vision. Modern visitors with cameras or recording devices capture unexplained sounds, from soft weeping to faint calls of their names. These stories suggest that the noblewoman's presence has endured through centuries, consistently haunting anyone who dares to enter her domain. The noblewoman appears. A final encounter. Those who approach the Long Gallery or the East Wing often report the most intense experiences. The woman in white appears gliding silently, her face pale and sorrowful, eyes filled with longing or anger. When approached, she vanishes, leaving only a trace, a chill in the air, the scent of roses, or a whisper. You should not be here. Some swear they felt her gaze follow them for hours, even after leaving the palace grounds. Others claim to have experienced a sensation of being guided, as if the spirit wanted them to understand her story, to witness her pain. The ending. A haunting that never fades. Hampton Court Palace remains one of England's most haunted and mysterious locations. The noblewoman's shadow may disappear from sight, but her whispers linger, echoing through the stone corridors long after visitors have left. Even today, those who walk the halls at night feel her presence. The brush of air, the faint sobs, the soft call of a name. Some leave with nothing but a chill in their bones, others with the lingering scent of roses in their hair and clothing. Her story is one of tragedy, injustice, and a spirit unwilling to rest. Hampton Court does not merely hold history, it breathes with it, alive with memories, shadows, and the whispers of those who can never leave. If you listen carefully, you may still hear her voice, drifting through the halls in the dead of night, a haunting reminder that some souls never truly find peace.